In this series, I invite you to take a journey with me as I sit down with my personal network of colleagues and friends and have a real conversation about business, life, and all the lessons learned along the way. It's my re-entry into the journalistic world. It's also a great opportunity to talk shop with empowered individuals. But most importantly, it's a conversation which you get to hear now, verbatim. Bob Marley once said, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice." In my life, I've always found myself in a dichotomy between tradition and revolution. On one side, I agree with many traditional values, but I also believe in the power of process and change, the power of evolution. In each episode, my goal is to capture a genuine conversation between myself and the people I've met along the way. Each guest is specifically picked because of what they do, how they do it, and the impact it's made on my life and the culture around me. I always loved watching interviews, and in the age of YouTube, that love grew quickly over time. But it wasn't until this individual told me that I can do it, that I was actually good at it, that I actually thought about it for the first time. His statement was a seed that he planted, and in that moment, unbeknownst to him, he changed my life. In this episode, I'm speaking with the founder and leader of the Seven Tribes hip-hop group, rapper, painter, entrepreneur, and activist, the thinker, Bohiti. I met Bohiti a decade ago, and although he's naturally evolved with time, at his core, I still feel the same light and warmth I felt the day we first met. He's undoubtedly one of the most fascinating individuals I've ever met, and today I wanted to shine a light on a side of him that I don't think many people get to see outside of his circles. A side of him that, fortunately for me, I've always seen because these are the only conversations I've ever had with him. We talk shop on life goals, mental health, music business, group economics, quality of life, and legacy. We haven't seen each other in a few years, and there's even been a pandemic in between that, so I didn't know what to expect. And what I found was a much more at peace Bohiti than I remember. And I got excited, because then I knew this was going to be a dope conversation. This is episode 1. Learn better, live better.
They ask me who the best, I say it's obvious. Ain't no other artist been this honest and this confident. I listen to their songs and I couldn't tell you what the topic is. If that's what you've been hearing, yo, I'm sorry, I'm on top of it. I understand how hard it's been when all your favorite artists say these projects been all types of mid. The media keep hyping it, labels keep on signing it in hopes that everybody keep on buying it. But they be losing touch about the times we in. Check. Back on the road and we packing these shows. So they gon' wonder how we did it, but I'm cracking the code. I know these people gon' be nervous when I walk through the doors with all of my people side by side like we marching to war.
The untitled.chapter used to be Bohiti.com. I changed it to untitled.chapter because I dropped the Untitled tapes. And in that process, I was like, let's put the one-stop spot for everything pertaining to the Untitled tapes, all the projects, all the merch, when you want to get information. So I kind of want to cut out social media. I want to cut out Instagram, cut out Facebook, cut out this, that, and the other thing. Whenever you want to know about Key, you go to untitled.chapter. I put up a little forum where we could communicate with each other. I'm trying to build the community in that space so that we don't have to utilize anybody else's platforms, third-party platforms, or get played for the money, or get played in us communicating with each other, having people in between or censoring us of what we can and cannot say. We can do whatever we want because this is our safe space type thing. And that will eventually evolve into a physical space too. So the untitled.chapter and then Untitled the studio.
That's fire.
Yeah.
What I like about that too is that, and anyone who works with me knows this, I'm a big data guy. And owning your data in today's world is super important.
Have all that.
So I love that because that sets you up to own all of that and then you can replicate it.
Exactly. You want something that you can create a blueprint for too. You know what I'm saying? I've been telling this to artists for 10 plus years. Create a website, they'll do it like this. I even experimented with all my old projects. You know this, every project that I've done, I always experiment on how I put it out, in what ways, how can I do it differently than I did it the last time, to show people that there's other ways to do it than opposite from the ways that they say that we have to do things. There is no, you can't tell me that I have to do it like this. I'm pretty sure there's at least 10 different other ways that we could do these things. You know what I'm saying? So everything is a lesson. Every project that I drop is gonna be a lesson on innovation, creativity, and doing it self-sufficiently and independently. Social media, KI_BOHITI on everything. The Untitled.Tapes.com. If you want any of my projects, that is the place to get it. We're not getting paid on Spotify, we're not getting paid on Apple Music, we're not getting paid on none of those other platforms. Go to the website, TheUntitledTapes.com. You get my merch, music, art, my bio, forums. I create all the art myself. Everything is done by me for you.
Can you envision your ultimate goal? And how does that vision guide your decisions as an artist?
That's interesting, because I had a conversation about this with my people who's recently in the house. I feel like my ultimate goal has nothing to do with my music or like my art or anything like that in that type of way. My ultimate goal really would be to have like the freedom to have unlimited access to the planet.
That's fascinating.
Unlimited access to the entire planet. Walk into whatever building I want to walk into, go to whatever country I want to go into whenever I want to go over there. Have unlimited access to every part of everything that has to do with this society, the planet. That goal for me sets a high standard, you know what I'm saying? So if my goal is that high, that I want to have that type of access to the planet, there's not many people, if any, that have that type of access to the planet or will ever have it. But it gives me so much space to have to keep growing and keep learning more and keep doing more and it keeps me hungry.
That's so fascinating. It reminds me of something
That's what helps with the music though, in that sense. That's how it coincides with the music, because then it motivates me to do this, because what I'm doing with this is a small piece of getting there. You know what I'm saying?
It's super fascinating. You remind me of something I heard Kanye say. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Kanye, but
I fuck with Kanye.
Okay, so he said he wants to get to a place where he no longer needs money and just be able to go everywhere. And I wonder, is that what you mean, or do you mean just like permission, ownership?
I feel like, for example, I was sitting with a woman friend of mine. We were in New York. We were looking over the Hudson River into Jersey City. And there's like these bunch of new condos and all types of things on the skyline now and stuff like that. I'm like, damn, we're from Jersey City, you know what I'm saying? We're from Hudson County. We lived there our whole lives. I can't walk in that building. Not without them stopping me and telling me, you can't do this, you can't do that. Or I can't go to the roof, I can't look at the view. There's certain things that are just outside of the scope of what we're able to do in our own cities even, you know what I'm saying? People are privatizing all types of things. It's like having an outrageous goal, like I want to go in that building, I want to go to this, I want to go over here. It's like, all right, there's so many things I have to do in order to maintain or get into that type of space to be able to have that type of freedom, you know what I mean? That means I have to make more money. Right? I have to focus more on my responsibilities and handle the things that are going to get me there, you know what I'm saying? Rather than focusing on all the problems and the things that are dragging me back this way. It's like, nah, focus on these things, because I want that. I can't get that if I focus on this. It just puts things in perspective for me easier. It's
That's super fascinating, because I guess what you're saying at its essence there is like to build yourself enough to the point where no one's blocking you.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean that I even want to be in that building or in that meeting, like how we were talking about earlier. Yeah. I don't necessarily care to be in that room or care to be there, but the fact that I can't bothers me. It's like, nah, you can't tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm going to do what I want, like that.
And I feel like that kind of like emboldenment, that empowerment, have you ever felt like that made other people uncomfortable?
I feel like I make people uncomfortable sometimes, yeah.
Because I feel like the program teaches people to be more docile.
I do try, like, in my, like now, as opposed to what I was 10 years ago. I was more out front and like in people's faces with what I'm saying and thinking. I'm more reserved about my words, my thoughts, and how I feel and things like that. I'll save it for if it's necessary.
What do you think inspired that change?
Learning, just experience, going through experiences with different people, different artists, different things in life, you know what I'm saying? And my experience tells me to shut up. Shut up, Key, you know what I'm saying? Just listen more, be more observant in that way, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like time and age brings that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because in my own personal life, I think...
Not always age, I guess, because I know people that are older and
right.
fucking, yeah. I don't want to say stupid, but you know, that stay in a level of like ignorance that they either knowingly stay in or don't have the information to get out of. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, I'm hearing a significantly more healed Key Bohiti today.
I mean, I feel better. I have, my life is different. It's not what it was 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Even 4 years ago, I was dealing with like a lot of people, a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear there's like there's an energy of like forgiveness and understanding in your voice. Like I don't hear animosity towards the past nor the future.
Right.
I hear a more calmer Key Bohiti. You know what I'm saying? And I gotta say, it's an interesting thing to witness because, you know, we've lived dynamically different lives, but I find myself at the age of 9, I'm 36 now, I'm in that same space.
Yeah.
I feel a lot more calmer and more relaxed in my own energy, where I feel like in the past, my own energy building up would make me be more active in ways that maybe didn't serve me.
My word, 100%. I feel like I had to have more understanding and forgiveness. I mean, as I grow, I tell my people this all the time. Sometimes I'm around people and I hear them say things, I watch them do things that remind me of myself. And it's like everybody who I talk to and everybody who I come across becomes a mirror. And it's like, I could see the faults in myself and the things I was doing that were crazy. Like, you know, not crazy in the sense of like, oh shit, I'm losing my mind, but I didn't have to take it that far, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to speak like this or do things in that manner, you know what I'm saying? So I see it today in other people, and it makes me check myself today. I can't do that anymore. I can't talk like that. I can't speak like that. I can't be like that. I have to be more open about this, or I have to, you know, because when I watch other people do it, it seems off, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, that's ugly. Why are you behaving like that? Why are you speaking like that? Why, you know, and then I was like, damn, I was doing the same thing. So it's like,
yeah. I agree with that 100%. Like what I was saying, like I feel like time kind of has this way of just like imbuing us with that kind of like wisdom just through sheer experience.
Yeah, I just want to say you just got to go through it. There's no other way. Some people get it, some people won't, you know.
And I kind of feel like sometimes, you know, when you're in the process of it, it's kind of like a drug and you're like intoxicated on that energy. That as I've aged, I felt like a more sober viewpoint on things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not realizing. And so when I see the younger generation too, just much like you, I see things, I'm like, I don't know if I would say that like that. Even though I know I've taken that position before.
No, word up. Same.
And it's weird. It's a little weird, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, I can cringe at things sometimes. It's just like, oh.
I feel like being around a lot of younger artists showed me a lot, to be honest, and it taught me a lot. It taught me how to be more patient. Like, sometimes I forget, you know, and I just, even in life, like, I'll not assume, but I just treat it like everybody knows what I know, or feels what I feel, or sees what I see, and I'll behave as such, rather than having a view like, this person probably never been through this before in their lives to even learn this type of lesson, or ever seen something like this, or, you know, like, or maybe I haven't seen something over there, so I'm having a misunderstanding, you know what I mean? That's another thing too, taking a lot of accountability and responsibility for my own things, you know what I'm saying? My own actions, my own mouth, my own thoughts and things like that. It's like, all right, too, I gotta check myself. And it helps me to deal with people differently even today, like, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'd rather keep myself away from certain things, or I'll be I like to engage in certain things that are different from what I used to engage in the past. You know what I'm saying?
That's such an interesting thing. Yeah, I'm fascinated by you because the last time we did this, like I said, you've been an evolved person since the moment I met you the first time, right? I feel like I'm catching you now at different stages, and that's interesting because I think it's representative of how much when you're young you think you know everything that you could know at any one moment.
Yeah, that's a
But
fact.
then time teaches you there's still so much more to know.
I was just talking about that. See, we have these conversations. It's like I watch people say things with conviction, like they know and mean what they say, and they probably do mean what they say, but don't fully understand. But you say with such conviction, and it's like you know that you can be wrong, right? Like you know that there's another thought process that could come up later, and the things that you're saying now that when you think about it, you're like, oh shit, I was saying that shit like it was like live or die on that, but it's like, oh no, but my mind changed. We have to leave that room for ourselves to grow in that way. It's like, let's not speak with so much conviction about everything that we're going through right now. That's why I say that I try to shut up a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Because I can say things that I'm gonna have a change of heart about later, you know what I'm saying? It's like, for what? Just be quiet about it, keep it to myself, analyze it, and that's a new process, you know what I'm saying? Even with my music, I used to do my music faster. I take forever with my music now. But I was like, I have to think about it first before I put it out. You know what I'm saying? I have to hear it 100,000 times. I show it to other people. You know, there's a whole process behind me putting out the songs and the music. There's more care and attention, to be honest. I feel like anything you love, you should have more care and attention with. So everything in that aspect, especially yourself. More time, care, attention, and love for yourself helps you give it to everybody else.
For sure. And I think it's important to keep that in mind too, especially now in this hyper social media society that we're in, where like anything you say has a domino effect.
Yeah, 100%.
Both positive and negative. So like if you're saying things with such conviction and you have a following, but you're like not all the way guided on what you're saying, you can send people to go through shit. But
of course.
Trying to.
Bro, I have that sentiment with the record Fuck 12. I was like, I don't want to perform this song no more. I thought about my verse. I was like, damn, I meant that shit. But at the same time, it's mad ignorant to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, God forbid somebody really listen to what I said on that record and go down and kill a cop and then they go to jail. And then it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, there's a piece of my influence in that influenced somebody to do some stupid shit that I wouldn't even want them to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not performing this song. I could have said that in a different way. I could have said fuck the police in a way that made sense logically, and a solution behind it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than to just be highly aggressive about it and cause people to go crazy and ruckus and riot and shit.
You know what's interesting? That makes me feel, what would we have found out of Pac if he got to live to be 30?
A more mature man, probably.
I feel like it's kind of like that energy, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I do feel like I still be angry and still have like those things,
for sure.
But I express it differently, you know what I'm saying?
But that's what I mean.
Try not to be so ignorant about it.
That's what I mean, just like, you said it, what was true for you at that time you said it.
Yeah.
And in time, gave you perspective.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What are your thoughts on investing in yourself?
I feel like more artists should invest in themselves. I've been investing in myself since the beginning. I feel like investing in yourself is the most efficient way to have ownership of everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? To have the choice and rights to do what you want as you want. You know what I'm saying? It just makes more sense.
Has there ever been a time before you had that mindset where you had like maybe a distasteful experience?
If I'm gonna be honest, I learned from other people's mistakes. So like I was just saying, like I came into this knowing that, or not knowing, but feeling like and thinking in my mind that ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. Nobody's gonna pay or invest into something that is against their morals and principles. So I have my own morals and principles and I stand for something. So when I speak, when I'm talking about music, when I create my art, the things that I stand for, I just assumed automatically, like, ain't nobody gonna help me get to this place, because if I help me get here, whatever they're doing is bound to crash. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, I'm an enemy of bad business.
You're the enemy of bad business. Explain that. That's interesting.
I've never gotten an opportunity presented to me that was good business. So I speak about people who operate in a bad way when conducting business, who are trying to manipulate, use, take advantage of artists, people who create, it's just in general, whether it's life or it's in business. It's like those types of people you don't want to deal with anyway.
And that's interesting because the music game is full of it.
So that's why I stay away. And I'll be like, I knew coming in when we did 7 Tries, like, we're gonna have to do this ourselves. We're gonna have to fund ourselves. We're gonna have to pay for everything ourselves. We're gonna have to shoot our own videos. You know what I'm saying? What we're talking about, what we're doing, how we feel about the world and life. Nobody's gonna give it to us and help us get there. It's like, let's just do it. And whoever's with it on the way will have that type of help if possible. But I've never gotten reached out by anybody who's trying to do something productive and good as far as business went. It was like the intention's always been about how this could align with their pockets and not the best benefit of me and my friends. You know what I'm saying?
And that's I don't know how you feel about it today, but I've lived different experiences of my own, and that's a rough one to digest at first because it easily makes you angry.
Yeah. Yeah, I was angry. I was young and angry.
Yeah, I spent a long time angry about that too because it always be the kind faces that be the ones that end up doing shit like that. The people that don't always come across as like that's what they're there for. But that they're like what you used to call, I don't know if you still call them agents.
Yeah,
like,
agents. Yeah, agents. I say even as an adult male today, right? I am what these guys should have been or could have been to me to other younger artists.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I would never ever try to get money from any of these younger artists to do a show, to do this, that, and that. I'm like, yo, you're charging these kids to do these events. They did it to me. They tried it, and then we said no, and then they stopped fucking with us, stopped booking us completely, and then I threw my own shows. You know what I'm saying? It's like, now you can't stop me. You don't want to book me? Cool, I'll book myself. And I'll book all the people that are actual artists, and they're gonna fuck with us because we artists for artists. It's like you just a user manipulating promoter or whatever you want to be, and you're using all the young guys, women, artists who have talent, skill, and really believe in what they want to do, but they don't have money. These guys are kids coming up where they gotta borrow money from their parents to pay an adult who's in his 30s to manipulate them and take advantage of them and use them, and they don't actually provide no type of real opportunity or coaching or artist development. Or like, come on, bro, you're playing all these younger artists, even up to like, I say like, any artist under 30 could be possibly getting played crazy right now by everybody around you.
I would even say over 30.
Yeah, that too, if you're not wise by the time, but it's like, yo, if you're under 30, more than likely the people around you are trying to play you. They're trying to get something for themselves in a way that's not valid. And I'm not talking about your friends. I'm talking about these business people and people in music and trying booking shows and doing this. And it's like, get your people close to you, fund yourself, put your money up.
And I would even take it further. I mean, there's this one promoting brand that I won't name, but one of the shit that I hate about them is that they have a big name, but they play a lot of games even with like ticket sales, where like they'll set up the website in a way where like you get your own ticket, but for your fans to go and buy your ticket, they gotta jump through manhole loops to even see your ticket, so they accidentally buy tickets for the main act.
That's crazy. I've never come across that type of situation. I didn't even know people were doing that. Yeah. That's a little weird.
What do you call it? Because part of my work is building on the e-com side of things, right?
Word.
And so, with the design strategies, I see it. Like, it's supposed to be, for example, at Amazon, they created the one-click buy, right? Okay. There's a reason for that. It's because
it's easy access, like.
And they did the research that the easier it is for the consumer to buy, the more likely they'll buy. So the more difficult it is,
you're gonna lose customers.
You know what I'm saying? So what these people do is they play the design game where like they'll have the main act and then they'll have like the other guest performers. But it'll be you have to jump through, like go through a couple scroll to find the art.
I'm not gonna lie. When things came around, like as I was growing and I was learning the game and situations like that, people book me. I'm like, all right, I'll do the show, but I'm gonna sell my merch. You know, I'm bringing T-shirts, I'm bringing this, I'm bringing that. I'm gonna make some type of money. I started, you know, it's easier to do a free show. Like free shows for me, if it's for the culture, it's for hip hop. We in there. Let's rock it. Let's do it. Nobody's getting paid though. Nobody at all. Not the venue, not the promoter, none of the artists. Nobody getting paid. You want to get paid? You can bring your own stuff. That's cool. But when they're charging at the door, at the bar, the promoter's getting paid. These people, the artists are not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Plus, their friends have to pay $15, $20 at the door. Say these guys bring 30 people through the door. How much money is that from one artist? Mind you, if every artist does something like that, the people who are throwing the event are getting big money. You could definitely pay these artists something. You know what I'm saying? They don't even want to do that. I don't have these problems no more because I don't care. I don't even participate. I'm like, I don't want to participate in none of this stuff because it's weird to me. I do what I do, create my own thing, and I build with my people.
And I think that's why I wanted to do this interview, because you stand to be the representation of how you can do it without following those traditional lanes.
Yeah, it's been the mission from the beginning, self-sustainability, you know what I'm saying, independence, and remaining that, not letting people take advantage of you.
Right.
That shit is abuse.
So I think that's an interesting segue. So can you share a moment where a memorable collaboration experience and how it showcased a win-win outcome for everybody?
A collaborative situation where it could be anything.
Well, just a memory that you had where like it worked, it was a win-win for everybody.
That's a good question. I feel like I threw it an event, so it comes along the time when a party promoter booked me and a couple other people that are very dope artists, including Micah Wright. He was also booked for the show. Some other brothers. There's a lot of people that were booked for the show, and bigger names too, like how you were saying before. So they have us on the card, and it happened multiple times where they don't even let us rock. They played us out completely, and we don't rock. Our people came to see us rock. We don't rock, but then, you know, and it's for bigger artists. So we're opening up for bigger artists, and it's like, all right, cool. You guys gonna keep playing this game? They contact me for another show. I'm like, nah, we're not doing no more shows. Me or none of my people, we're not doing that. So I hit up somebody I know, and we rented out a whole gym. I lived upstairs, and we had a gym downstairs. And I threw a crazy event, and it was a bunch of artists. I had like 10 artists on the bill. We did like pre-sale tickets, and I gave everybody tickets, but like you sell those tickets as your money, put that shit in your pocket. Like as soon as you sell the ticket as your money, like keep that shit. Like we don't even give a fuck, like keep the bread. When the people get the tickets, they come and they get free meal. They had access to a tattoo room that I had upstairs. Show, you know what I'm saying? It ended up being a really good night. Everybody got their money's worth, you know what I'm saying? A lot of dope performances. And that was really a collaborative effort going against the people who were throwing shows out here at the time, because they were doing funny, shicey shit. Found a way to get everybody on the team paid, and it was a collaborative effort between maybe 10 different artists, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we did that ourselves, and we made a lot of money, and it was a successful show.
One of the things that I've always liked about you is you are so good at catering to the end user experience. You know what I'm saying? We spoke off camera about it, but I want to mention it now. When you were working on the American Gun project, I loved how you created a strategy of putting the project on a tape, buying a whole bunch of tape Walkmans and headphones, and selling it as a package together, so that people can consume the project the way you had intended them to.
Yeah, right? For sure.
And I always thought, what year was that when you did that?
2015.
Yeah, no one was thinking like that in 2015 because everyone was so obsessed with the new technology that you did the innovative thing, and I would even argue the postmodern thing.
I feel that.
To go back, and because I'm assuming the cost for it was a lot cheaper because it wasn't the new technology.
Yeah, it was a lot cheaper. So, it's a lot cheaper than it is today even now. Because today is more expensive because it's popular.
I think you were part of that wave that made people look back to go to it, but you were first. You were the first person I ever saw do that. And I don't think people were fully gay. Well, I don't know. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but just from my sense, I don't know if you've ever gotten the full credit that you deserve for being innovative in that way. Because then now with the Anteku tapes, I saw you did a similar, like an improvement to that strategy where it's a tape deck, but that tape deck is a USB.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fire too.
I was trying to find a middle ground between analog and digital in a way where it was going to be aesthetically dope for the people who were buying the project, something collectible. Because I did those like 1 of 50, so there's only 50 of those out there. They sold out.
And that's the other part that I love. Because even back then, you were doing custom art with the project.
Yeah. I always did the art for our work. Like, whether it was Seven Tribes or my shit, or even some of the brothers' things that they asked me to do. Like, I was always doing the artwork. I'll paint, I'll do the t-shirts, I'll print them myself and stuff like that.
And in that, I've always respected your artistry in that way. Because it was never just a piecemeal thing. It was always an entire experience. It was always.
But that's what it is for me. I feel like it should be like that for everybody, for every artist. I've spoken to artists where they're not passionate about like creating merch or like designing things, When I say that, it's more like I find all aspects of the creative process to be a part of the art itself. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do so many things in between the project and things that tie the project together. Because the whole process is supposed to be an in-depth analysis. Like, you get to follow and be a part of the project. You are the project, you know what I'm saying, in that sense.
So how do you...
But a lot of other artists don't really look at it like that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, I made the music is the art, that's it. But for me, the art extends to every aspect of it, to the designing of the cover, to the design of the USB cassette. I was like, damn, I gotta design something crazy. Like, I gotta get something crazy for this, you know what I'm saying? And I have fun with that. Like, for me, that's fun. Like, I have so much fun, like, marketing and promoting and, like, putting the art together and putting the storyline, because there's always a storyline behind the projects. And it just all makes sense. For me, I like psychological movies and books. My music would be like that, I guess, and set up in that way.
That's interesting. And I would say in the time that I've been following you, I see you've been absolutely consistent in that way.
Thank you.
I mean, in the way you put your projects together and the way you present your ideas to the world. And I like that you said that's the fun part for you, because in a similar vein, why I'm even doing this interview segment series is I want to go back to what's fun for me.
I feel that, yeah.
Just having conversations with people that I find interesting, that's always been fun for me. And which actually is a great segue. I wanted to make sure I did this once again, because I did it in the other interview we did, and just give you your flowers, and you being the guy that told me that I should do this.
Thank you, bro.
Ago. And I never considered it until you suggested it, and I never forget that. It is part of why, like, when I'm starting back up again, one of my first thoughts is like, I gotta get back in.
And that's why I told you we need that. That shit is necessary. Even when I told you back then, because it's a necessary part of our hip hop and our culture to have historians, people who are gonna tell the stories, who are paying attention, who, it's an unbiased opinion, you know what I mean? It's just like this from the spectator, from the outside looking in, when we get to have somebody who tells the history of our culture.
And that's
accurately.
I appreciate you saying that, because I try to keep it unbiased, because I'm not in it for the clout. It's more anthropology for me.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We gotta keep that timeline, the history going, because what if it gets lost? We see what happened when history gets lost, and then you don't know where you come from and you don't know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the Hudson County music scene, I think some of that is happening. People don't remember how big the scene is and how long people have been in it. But then also people, have stopped being in it.
I also want to say that people also sometimes get too absorbed in it.
That's a fact, okay.
In being locally in a scene. So for me, I like to separate myself from anything that has to do with like that. Because that was for me when I was coming up doing certain things. It's like that could limit you in a way where you don't realize that there's a bigger world. There's more states, there's other countries, there's other listeners, there's different people that listen to different types of music. And it's like getting stuck on hood politics and politics of like local, it's almost like a underground mainstream. It's like,
okay, I get that.
It's like it doesn't make sense to do something like that, you know?
People get upset with that underground mainstream feeling.
Hey, listen, I feel like that it doesn't make sense. It's like, how are we acting like them?
Right. So that's an interesting segue, because then I've been curious to ask, since I've been following as of late, how is the Brooklyn scene feeling like? Because I've seen you in Brooklyn and in Philly.
Yeah, I'm in Philly a lot. New York has a big hip hop scene. New York in general, not just like the boroughs. Like you go upstate, New York's hip hop scene is busting right now, and there's a lot of people that play pivotal roles in that. And there's a lot of artists that are coming up that are legendary in that scene, right? That people here in Jersey don't even understand or know about. It's like, if you're in hip hop and you're from New Jersey and you claim to be on some hip hop shit, like how we're for the culture, you should know about that. Because what they're doing is what we're supposed to be doing too. You know what I'm saying? There's like more platforms. We haven't had many, if any, platforms in New Jersey or in this area or anything like that to talk to these artists or build up artists or new stages, new places, new things, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't really happen like that, and people gotta leave. You gotta leave New Jersey, you gotta go to New York, you gotta talk to the radio station in New York, you gotta talk to the person who's throwing the event at SOBs and Webster Hall and all these other dope venues. You gotta talk to these people who, from another place, from another state, and they're gonna give it to their people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is what it is, and you either get in or you don't. And I feel like independently, we should be building that up as our own culture, you know what I'm saying? But unbiasedly, and be able to travel and get out and see the rest of the world. People get caught up on local shit and local politics that it closes your mind to the fact that like you don't even have to be here anymore. You could go live in Cali and still make music and do other shows and do other things, you know what I'm saying? But you're limiting your audience, you're limiting everything by staying here.
And I think, because I agree with you with that, and I think what happens with that in many instances, I think artists become afraid if they've generated some attention here that they won't have it somewhere else, and they're afraid to repeat that process.
It's crazy.
To an empty show.
That's crazy, because for me, I hate going to a show and seeing the same people.
Really?
I feel like, what? How am I performing in front of the same crowd? Like, this is not valid. That means that my growth, nothing happened. You know what I'm saying? Nothing changed. If I'm performing in front of the same people I was performing in front of 10 years ago, I don't know. Something got to change. Something got to happen. You know what I'm saying? So when I go to a show, if I'm doing a show in Philly, I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't know not one person there besides the people that come from Jersey that is in Philly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But there's a whole different crowd in Philly. There's a whole different crowd in New York. There's a whole different crowd in LA. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I prefer the different crowd, the new crowd, as opposed to performing in front of people that I've known my whole life.
And I think that's what separates you. Because I think that means, at least in my perspective, you're more prepared to do this at a higher level.
Oh, hell yeah. I want to do it at a high level. I want big stages. I want to do way bigger things than what I'm doing right now. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody feels like that about what they're doing right now, that you can do more. Even if you think that you're doing a lot, there's a lot more to do. Because sometimes I'll be thinking I did a lot. I did a lot already. I've been here 10 years, 12 years, but it's not enough. I feel like there's so much more to do. It's like, how could I ever be content? So nobody should be content. I really want to get those bigger stages. I'm confused about why I don't get bigger opportunities. I'm just going to go outside more. and find the people who I got to talk to for those opportunities.
See, I think your proactive nature in that space is what gives you like your superpower, because like I said, I know artists that like is going into like new audiences and not getting that same love that they used to is a nightmare.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a nightmare.
I love being the underdog. I'm good with it. I'll be an underdog forever.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly how you started, right? You started like deficit, and it's like, fuck it.
I never expected nothing. I never expect nobody to even like our shit. So it's like,
right. That's an interesting. Yo, I find that so fascinating because, you know how they say sometimes it takes 10 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah, you pay 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah. I just feel like this is what I was telling you before off camera.
We are definitely at that marker,
at that mark where like the world is finally at the place to properly receive your energy. Because I feel like you've been ahead of it. You know, in the previous interview, like I had mentioned, you were talking about shit that wasn't mainstream conversation, maybe backdoor conversations, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, we did that interview in 2019, and then the pandemic hit, and much of what you were talking about, nutrition, vaccines, and all the shit, became main conversations.
Yeah.
It's almost like you were predicting what you saw was happening, but, you know, I don't necessarily, like we had said, it wasn't a prediction, it was just you were paying attention.
Yeah. Paying really close attention. But like if you pay, I'm not psychic, you know what I'm saying? I don't play with cards and magic, I just pay attention. So if you know 1 + 1 = that's what's gonna happen next, you know what I'm saying?
And
it's like
your brain for that is always fascinating me, because I remember when we did the last interview, we walked into your studio off, I think it was like Central Ave.
Yeah.
Jersey City.
Yeah, that was the other spot.
One of the things that I remember stood out to me clear as day. You had a whiteboard.
Yeah.
Full of all of the
like rules
and the goals.
Yeah.
And in big bold letters was group economics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you were talking that talk years ago, in a way that I wasn't hearing no one else say that shit.
I try to, you know, carry that energy wherever I go, but like, I figure if it's on the whiteboard and people are gonna come to my apartment or my studio, or they're gonna come here and they're gonna read this board, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, whether they accept it or not, it gets into their subconscious mind. Like, oh look, this is here. Do you see this? I've spoken to people about group economics and coming together and putting our money together for common causes and really building things up in that way. It's not easy to implement, you know. But yeah, we definitely were having those conversations of group economics, coming together, utilizing, becoming self-sufficient, independent, and creating our own thing, and not needing outside sources for that. You know what I'm saying? We don't need them, they need us.
Which is the main conversation now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There's always been that since day one.
For sure. I guess in general, like on your mission.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying in the collective consciousness of the music game.
Yeah, now, right?
Now it's like the main conversation. It's the one everyone is like pushing behind. And that, even that being stated, not everybody's prepared to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
In the way that I think you are. You know what I'm saying? I think, like even right now, your shirt is in the frame. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell you to do that. You knew to do that.
Yeah.
You already knew to, you know, because besides being an artist and a creative, you are very much a businessman.
Yeah.
And I think I want to shine light on that, because I don't think we like to acknowledge, and especially within the music scene, but just in the community, I don't think we acknowledge the businessmen in the culture properly. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we the way most people identify as business is like a brick and mortar.
Yeah, I feel you.
But they don't really recognize what an individual entrepreneur could look like when it looks like someone that looks like that.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to acknowledge that I think you've been a great example of what a businessman could be like.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I'm trying, you know. I as the years went on and progressed, I try to teach myself as much as possible, and I've learned a lot. I was lucky enough, or I don't want to say luck, I want to say you know, my life brought me to places where I was able to experience certain things and be in certain rooms that maybe some people might not ever be in, or get the chance to talk to certain people, but I've gained experience and information through those situations, you know what I'm saying? So like doing all these interviews, doing all these shows, flying out to LA to have meetings, or like having meetings general in New York or anywhere, speaking to people, it taught me a lot of how to move as an independent, mature adult who has a business, as opposed to being a child who's trying to do a business, but like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, product placement, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I did things by mistake as a child growing up, like doing, like when we were doing 7 Tribes, I did what I felt. But when I look back at it, I'm like, oh, I see what I did. I created merch, I created this. I didn't do it with that intent of like, it wasn't well put together in my mind yet. You know, I had to break down my own thing and study myself to recreate it again.
You know, I find it interesting because you had mentioned it earlier. I just want to go through
it. It's like, how did I do that?
Because you were saying how like now when you build your projects, you build it, that was almost like a master class for how other people can do the same. Can you speak on that?
For sure. So like, when I create a project, it's meant like, I break it down in a way where Untitled Tapes, I'm speaking about independence, self-sufficiency on there. I'm making a statement that this is where I'm gonna stand and this is where I'm gonna ride. Whether you listen to the music or not, the way I put the project out, did the USB cassette drive, private invite-only party, which ended up Untitled Tapes release tour, you know what I'm saying, where I go to different spaces and showcase the album, you know what I'm saying? All these things are processes that I was trying to show other artists that they can do in order to make money and be independent and still do things, even if it's $200, $300, $400, you're finding a way to bring money in off of your art and your product by yourself without having to be a part of a major record label or anything like that. So every project I do, I try to do that. I try to come out with something innovative, creative, and a whole process that other people can learn from and utilize themselves. You know what I'm saying? To be honest.
You were talking off camera about a whole hip hop world that exists that most people don't know about. So I'd like to travel in there so that maybe we can educate some of the viewers on what is happening right now. What are you seeing in the music scene?
In hip hop in general, I want to say like, when I speak about this type of thing, I want to say more so like the people in, I guess, New Jersey, or who are not keen or attached to the underground hip hop scene. There's a whole movement that's been going on for years, you know what I'm trying to say? And there's a lot of really, really, really dope artists that a lot of people out here don't really understand that they exist or know about. It's like how I was telling you before, how we used to look at Nas, DMX, Jay-Z, Big L, Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest. When we thought about these artists, those things are happening today, right now. But people are not aware of it because they need a spoon fest and it needs to be on the middle of the TV. But that scene, the music, that artistry, that type of passion is here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of artists and I'm tapped in with that. Like, I really fuck with those artists. There's a lot of artists in New York, a lot of artists in New Jersey, producers, a lot of producers that people have no idea who they are. You know what I'm saying? It's because people's focus is usually on a mainstream platform. You know what I'm saying? So you're really missing out on a lot of the history and things that are going on right now that you might have to hear about 10 years from now through somebody like yourself who's a historian who's documenting all this shit. And these people are gonna be like, damn, where was I when I was happening? You weren't paying attention.
You know, it's interesting. I've lived long enough now that some of that stuff is happening to me now, where I'm watching documentaries on shit that was happening when I was starting to listen to hip hop.
Oh, word up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I bought, my older cousin bought the 36 Chambers album. So like watching that unfold is like, holy shit. Like, I remember when that song dropped.
Word up. But even in that sense, right? So when I was young in the 90s, right? And I had, say, even Nas dropping mainstream albums, right? He's doing After Illmatic, it was written, right? It was written as like more mainstream look. But he was still dropping records that mainstream people, if you're watching and you're only paying attention to MTV or outlets like that, that you're gonna miss all the underground tapes, all the mixtape shit that was on at night, at midnight, when the DJs are playing the shit, you know what I'm saying? When the mixtapes was in the street, you had to be in the street and you had to figure it out like that.
Yeah.
So it's two different ways of listening to music. Most people, I wanna say, listen to music like looking for some mainstream shit, and they want the things that are harder to find, they want it spoon-fed to them in that same way, but that's not how it works. You have to love the art, you gotta love the music, and you gotta go out there and find some dope shit.
So if someone's trying to look into how to discover that, what would be some routes to start looking?
Go to shows.
Where?
Pay attention.
To the events?
Yeah, you have to pay attention. It be all over Instagram, it be all over social media. You know what I'm saying? There's shows. If you see a show that you don't know the artist, pop up. You might find something there. You might see something. You might, oh shit, this been going. I'm telling you, a lot of people are gonna be surprised when they go outside and they're like, oh shit, I thought that this wasn't happening. Nah, it's happening right in front of your face. You're just not paying attention to it. You're not outside. You're not really tapped in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's like what I was saying before, the local scene. People thinking locally, you lose sight of what's happening in real life all around you. Like, this is so minuscule and small, especially Hudson County, Union City, Jersey City, Hoboken. It's like, you're gonna think about this when there's a whole world outside of this that's moving. You're gonna stay stuck on worried about like this minuscule politics that go on here they don't pay your bills, they don't help you raise your children, and they're not helping you eat, get food in your stomach. So like, what sense does it make to be constantly paying attention to that? I feel like if more people paid attention to what's going on, try to involve themselves in these places and spaces, build their own things, it would work out more beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think sometimes that's the thing, that's the crutch that they don't realize they have. They're not trying to expand.
So what are you gonna do? Sit in your crib and do it off the internet?
I think some people believe that that's how it happens.
How?
I mean, I don't know.
You gotta go outside. You gotta be outside.
And I believe that 100%.
And especially if you want genuine love and real, genuine, like authentic people, human beings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I watch people do things on the internet and like try to make certain records and do things. It's like, bro, what did that do for you in 10 years? What did it do? Do you have an audience? Did anything happen for doing those types of things and making those types of moves and spending that type of money in those types of places? Are you in the right space? Are you spending the money to be in the space that you're supposed to be in? Or are you spending money to be in spaces that you don't even belong in, or it's not going to be receptive to what you're doing? Like, you got to be more calculated and organized in your mind to understand what you do, who you're talking to, where do those people that you're talking to hang out at? How do you build more of that? By being in these spaces with the people who are involved or care about the things you're actually doing. You an R&B singer? What are you doing in an underground hip hop show with a bunch of rappers? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna go rap on stage? Or are you gonna go to a space where it caters towards R&B singers and people who are involved, producers, engineers, people who know how to operate in that space are gonna be at? That's where you want to be at. You don't want to be in the other space. You're mismarketing yourself type shit. So it's like, I don't know, I put myself where I want to be if I want to be there. If I don't want to be there, I don't go. And I don't complain about not being there either.
Do you think people do that?
Yeah, hell yeah. I feel like people want to be a part of things and complain about not being a part of things, but never make an attempt to be a part of it.
Right, it's just
it's almost like a self-privilege and like what's the word I'm looking for?
What, like entitlement?
Entitlement. And you feel entitled that you should be there. It's like, how about you do the work and go over there and talk to the people? Say there's a platform and this platform is booking a lot of people and you feel like you should be one of those people that they're booking and you're upset that they're not booking you. Maybe you should contact them, and you might get booked.
I find that so interesting you say that because in my work, I find that people often underestimate how effective just reaching out can be.
That's a fact. Yo, I feel like I gotta say this because it's a misconception too, where people think that their favorite artists or the people they see doing things that are, I guess, seem successful to regular people. You're failing to realize that these people are paying for these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they're reaching out, or they're getting up and they're doing these things. It doesn't just happen. It ain't just like people ain't just giving them these opportunities out of nowhere for no reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it makes other artists who are coming up think and feel like that, like entitlement, like why this not happening for me? It happened. Look at this guy. I'm doper than this dude or whatever. But it's like, bro, I promise you, if you feel like you're that dope and you did what that person's doing, you'd probably be in the same spaces or better. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It comes down to that. It's like, what are you willing to do to be in the spaces that you want to be in or not?
And I think that's one of the biggest obstacles that I've seen with a lot of other artists is they don't really properly quantify what the work is. They think they know what the work is, but they get stuck at being upset of not being at where they want to be, but they're not reassessing. Maybe they're not doing enough. And then if you introduce that, they get mad.
Hell yeah. That's like, yo, not for nothing, high key. When Cut hit me up, he asked me for a record for the thing that he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like a special, what he call it?
Oh, freestyle. Rap series.
Yeah, so a special rap series. So like, I sent him a record. He hit me back like, yo, can you make it longer? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he gave me like, he was like, yo, fix that. I was like, wait, what? But you know what I'm saying? I was like, nah, he's right. My man told me the same thing. So I'm gonna go back and go do it again. Add more to it. God forbid you tell somebody that you don't like their shit or it needs to be better and they lose their mind and start flipping out on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, that's immature. It's just childish. You can't grow like that. I took it as like, all right, constructive criticism. Boom, do this again. Get it better.
To his credit, I would argue that Cut is a credible person, that if he's saying it to you, there's a reason. That it's not coming from like a bad place.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? Because I've worked with him on other projects, and he's committed to getting the best out of the projects.
Now, word, I feel that.
And he's absolutely that type of person, and so, it's never from a bad place. Even if like I've had my conversation with him, like, well, he don't like something that I'm doing, and we have the conversation.
It's
you know
fine.
What I'm saying? But I'll never ever take away that I know he's coming from the right place.
Word up.
You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of respect for that dude for sure.
I just think it's really hard for people to hear that they need to improve something.
Yeah.
Especially when they don't feel like they have to.
Back to the entitlement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the biggest issues, especially within the younger generation. You know what I'm saying? Because they grew up where like social media was always there.
Yeah.
Right? They don't know a time before that where you had to go outside and talk to people. Like they don't know what it was like to be popular before social media. Like you had to actually meet the people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And like putting a show just a show together while MySpace was around was not the same as what it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like even social media has evolved, and if you've been around for the long haul of it or been around for a while, you realize that social media is a wonderful tool, but it doesn't solve everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't solve everything, and I think sometimes the younger artists with that entitlement, they wanted to solve everything because what they're really dealing with is like maybe some anxiety about being outside.
Possibly, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like there's a lot that can change if people become more open-minded, go outside and put themselves in the positions that they actually want to be in.
Yeah, I can see that. I think...
For real. And open up, realize that there's actually things happening right now and it's bigger than Union City or Jersey City or Hoboken or Hudson County in general.
And to just be brave enough to go out and check it out.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, hell yeah, reach out. If you feel like... I know a lot of people could feel like they're being slighted in certain things. It's like, bro, reach out, go outside, talk to these people. Relationships are highly important and good relationships.
So, all right, let's move in that direction. What are some practices that you do to maintain good business relationships?
Deal with good people. There's like what I was trying to tell you with the features. It's like I'm not doing a feature or a song with anybody who I don't know personally, sat down with, had dope conversation, and I like you as a human being. It doesn't make sense to share my art, which I hold in high regard in my heart, with somebody who doesn't care. You know what I'm saying? So like, we have to have love, genuine love with each other, and that carries on to every aspect in life. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so then let's backtrack a little bit and maybe talk about some of the lessons you've learned from doing, being on the bad end of bad business.
Bad end of bad business constantly.
Yeah, I mean, is there like any moment that stands out? I mean, you don't have to particularly.
I just feel like this is when I come across like I talked about earlier with the promotion and like people being promoters and trying to take advantage of the youth and take money from people, to even going higher to going to BET and them wanting to exploit our lives in a way where it wasn't beneficial for us, but they were gonna pay us. You know, that's bad business to me. It's like, oh, you wanna play me on national TV and disrespect us and do things that could possibly get us into trouble so that you can get ratings for your TV show and we make a small little bit of money for it. It's not worth it for me, and it's exploitive, and it's like, that's bad business. So those types of people never want to work with me because I express it outwardly as soon as I see it.
And I guess that outward expression kind of like shuts it down immediately.
Yeah. And then anybody who moves in that way, if they see me behave like that, or they hear me speak like that, or they listen to my music and I'm talking about people who do bad business, they don't want to do business with me. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of keeps the whack shit at bay, and I get to deal with dope people, you know what I'm saying, and move with love and honor and on this side, you know what I'm saying? And we get to build our own thing.
You know, that's interesting because that's in the other interview we did, I asked you a question about what do you think it takes to create longevity and unity? And we were talking about how long the Seven Tribes have been together, right? It's still together now, several years after that interview, but it makes me remember your reasoning, and you said it all begins with love.
Right.
And that without love, you can't move as a unit. You know what I mean? And I feel like time is proving to me how consistent your thoughts are, because you said that in 2019, it's now 2024. You know, and very few people I come across maintain that level of consistency.
I feel that.
Also,
it's real.
Yeah, it's real, but it's also, I appreciate the perspective, because, you know, I've dealt with people who do bad business.
Right up.
I've dealt with people who pretended to do good business. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the thing that's kept me able to move in the circles that I can move in is because I've always been genuine with my intentions, and I've never.
Yeah, that's the best way. Yeah. That's the best way. I would say, like, there's not many people I deal with just only on a business level. Like, I don't have much of that, you know. And when I do, then there's a consumer, you know, by buying a product or things like that. But like, dealing with somebody who where we could do business and it could put people in a better position and things like that. I've never spoken to anybody who had a genuine concern to take care of the things that were necessary to make sure that I was beneficial, they were beneficial, the people around me were beneficial. It was always something where, like, advantage, take, snatch, exploit, and throw this thing on the back burner, you know what I'm saying? Him and his homies, fuck these people, you know what I'm saying? And it's always been that when I've approached anybody with business. That's why I speak so much about bad business, because if they say that there's people who do good business and want to see, like, positive, progressive shit and see growth and change, those people have never contacted me. I don't even know where they at. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so in that way.
See, I think that's interesting because they haven't reached out, it's part of what makes your journey so interesting, because you've had to just do it on your own.
At the same time, I kind of feel like if somebody is in a position to help in a way or with anything, I kind of feel like if you listen to me, you fuck with on it, you kind of want to see what I'm going to do by myself.
What do you mean?
Like, how far can I take it by myself? Like people watching, like, all right, where can you go until you can't go no more, you know what I'm saying? To where I need the help, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that way, I feel like, all right, cool, he's self-independent, self-sufficient, let him rock.
I mean, that's
you know what I'm saying?
There's a respect to that.
Yeah, let him rock. Let him keep doing it the way he's doing it and see how it works out. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I talk like that, so it's like, fuck it, I'm cool with it, I'll accept that too.
But see, that's why I respect you for that, because you you are balanced. You know what I'm saying? You have your positions on things, but it's balanced, and you basically just like, I'm gonna do it myself, and if you're okay watching me do it myself and maybe waiting for the moment where I do need it, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, it's cool, but you're making me stronger. You're making me, I'm like, fuck it, I have to figure this out as much as possible, as much as I can. And remember, my goal is so high and far from myself that, like, I don't think I'm losing steam anytime soon. I'm very dedicated to the mission.
And I respect the shit out of that, because I feel like I live a parallel experience to that. Because, like I was telling you off camera, I don't really need anyone to help me do anything. I can do everything myself.
It'd be nice, but you know,
yeah, it'd be nice.
it'd be nice, but it's not necessary.
I took the opportunity from when the pandemic happened. It's why I'm upgrading now into video, right? I taught myself how to video edit.
Word. Oh yeah, I had to do the same with everything.
You know
Like,
what I'm saying? So I'm not afraid to learn. I'm not afraid to evolve. I'm not afraid to network. I know how to reach out.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not afraid to reach out. And I think that's like, I don't need anyone's validation for me to feel good about myself or feel that I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been in rooms where I walked in thinking I was the dumbest one in the room until I just stayed quiet, let everybody talk. And realized, like, all right, I'm in the wrong room because I'm the smartest one here.
Oh man, when you let people talk, they will tell you who they are.
Yeah, bro.
You don't even have to say anything.
And you be rooms that you be like, nah, that shouldn't be. These people should be way more knowledgeable than me. And it's like, nah.
Sometimes they are, and they just
play stupid?
Not playing stupid, but want to say what they can. Maybe they're playing smart and want to say what they have to say, what's necessary for them to get what they want.
That's valid. I never considered that, but yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. That's sneaky talk. That's like, I know what I want, I gotta do this to get that, even though I don't want to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. It's like, alright, that's sneaky shit. I don't like that shit either. It's like, that business shit is weird. So like, we operate the way we operate, we build up ourselves in a certain way, and we gotta keep that safe. Keep that safe.
You gotta keep it safe, because if you let them infiltrate, they'll rot you from the inside.
I've been in positions where like I've trusted people and loved people and allowed people around me, and then it wasn't good. And it was not beneficial for me or anybody around me, or, you know, my situation in life. You know, I have a child, I have bills to pay, I got my own things to do, and people don't take into consideration the way that they live and the things that they do can affect other people's lives.
Right.
Especially when you're standing right next to each other. That's why people look at people's affiliations. It's like, who you affiliated with? You cool with that person? Yeah, this is your friend. This person does this. It's like, I don't want nothing to do with your life. Your life, you don't want to live in a progressive, positive, righteous way. Cool. Go over there. Like, you're going to affect how I feel, how I think, and things that are happening for me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like people don't realize that even when you're doing features or if you're doing business with somebody, you don't want to do business with somebody who's like wicked and doing some wicked shit. You don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So best way to avoid that is to know who these people are. It's like, I love this person, I know this person, we're gonna do business together, we're gonna work together, or we're gonna just do things out of love. Let's work on art together, let's create love.
You know what's funny? I think you when I hear you speak, you fucking activate my brain. You know what I'm saying? Because it takes me to places, because you're absolutely right. It's something that I carry now very close to heart, and it's, I protect my peace. Because you just be around people not even knowing that they're the wrong people, and they just siphon your peace. You know what I'm saying?
People are good at disguising things.
Yeah. You don't even know that there's a leak. You know what I'm saying? Until you know, and it's like, fuck, your peace is broken.
So that's why I say, like, yo, I'm good where I'm at right now. I feel like that's what you were saying earlier. I feel different. Like how you saying that you noticed some changes and things. It's like I feel like a different person. Like I'm not who I was 4 years ago, never mind 10 years ago. You can't even hold me to nothing that was done that time. Like, you know, I can't hold myself to that. I can't hold nobody else to the things that were done or said or how we lived our lives and stuff like that. It's like,
I gotta say though, I'm happy to see it though.
Thank you. I'm happier. It's like, you gotta think about it. Like what you were saying before, a lot of the things So 7 Tribes doing from 2012 to even 2016 or whatever. And then 16 till 2020 when I'm doing 7 Tribes, this other shit over here, doing rock music, dealing with bands, dealing with these people, dealing with that people. That shit was a whole different process that changed my mind. You know what I'm saying? It was like, as I was doing that, my mind was changing as I was going through the process. Can't hold myself to those things. Now I'm a new person. I think different. I'm happier. I was struggling at the time with different things. You know what I'm saying? Like my child not being with me. I have my son now. Now he's with me. He lives with me. So full-time dad. You know what I'm saying? I got my art together. I got rid of a lot of people that were around me that I wasn't happy with. That were bringing, like I said, attachments to their lives into my life. It's like everybody's gone. It's just me and my son, my music, my art, and my people that I build with when I do music.
So, moving in that same vein of like, you know, you saying that you have your son with you now, full-time dad. Let's talk about what parenthood has been like for you as an artist, as a human. What has that journey been like for you?
It hasn't been an easy one, but before I even go into that, me and my son's mother are cool. We're blessed, and I have nothing but love and respect for her. So I would never talk bad about her or anything like that. So like the things that we went through, we were young, and we split young when my child was born. Like maybe 2 years after he was born, we split. So my path being outside young, trying to be an artist, I didn't have a job. I had a job, then I lost a job. Trying to take care of my child, not being able to see him as often, and kind of going through like a depression wasn't the way that I would suggest anybody to try to raise a family or have a child or a woman in their life, you know what I'm saying? But at this point now I have my son, he lives with me, and me and his mother have a great relationship. She has her own relationship, her own kids, you know? It's a whole different perspective for me to look at it. It's like, like I said, I make correlations to my parents all the time because I was older than my parents when they had me. My parents were 19, 20 years old, 21 years old when they had me, raising me a certain way, you know what I'm saying? The way I was raised, I wouldn't suggest for people to raise their kids like that, but I also have to forgive my parents for raising me like that because they were kids. They didn't know what they were doing, you know what I'm saying? So like, being a parent and looking at what we were doing and how we grew up, it's like, we gotta have more forgiveness in that sense as parents. Forgiving my parents, me trying to be a better parent for my child, holding it down a certain way, you know what I'm saying? It's just been real insightful, and a very insightful journey, a very emotional journey, and yeah.
I find it interesting, as you express that. You know, I think about my own parents and where I had to find forgiveness for them also. And I think that's an interesting chapter of one's life when you finally get to that place.
There's a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
It's like even dealing with the relationship with my son's mother. We both dealing with trauma as youthful people, young teens going into adults. You know what I'm saying? And trying to figure things out because we were both like really outside, me and her, like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't have easy lives separately in life. So, you know, it's just a lot to do with. But I think at this point right now where we at is a good place for people to be at, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I love to hear that. I mean, I wasn't aware of any of that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the time.
It's just hard to, I guess, balance everything, you know what I'm saying? Especially being at the age that I was at and trying to maintain and being frustrated, you know, with my mom coming home from jail, then that's when I had my child, you know what I'm saying? Me not having such a great relationship with my father.
Which I think is a great segue into one of my favorite records off the Untitled tapes, which is Keynotes. Where like, you know, you're talking so much about your life, but then you end it with the story of your mom going to jail and how your dad's behavior was after that.
Yeah.
And I find that so interesting because the person that I meet is this enigmatic, thought-provoking, intelligent human being that's legitimately trying to do some good in a potentially fucked up world. When I learn about these stories of your younger days, it makes me wonder, like, what was it about your spirit, that turned you into who I end up meeting? Because anyone else, it would have broken them. I know people that have not experienced a quarter of that, and it's turned them into some ugly adults, right? Like there was no healing, there was no trauma, there was no good intention.
It's easy to become like that.
For sure. And I just think, like, you know how they say two glass bottles break completely different?
Yeah, word.
Right? I'm fascinated by how that's how your traumas molded you, and that somehow through all of that you've been able to like navigate it in a way where you arrive to a place where you are forgiving of the past, forgiving of your parents. You found balance and forgiveness with your previous relationships, but now you become the example that I believe you want to be for the future for yourself.
Yeah. I'm trying to be better still. Like,
Yeah.
for me, that shit haven't changed. Like, I still got things to grow from and learn. You know what I'm saying? To be able to provide and protect in the way that I want to. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I feel like throughout it all, I always had like the same mentality though. Like, even when I did stupid things inside, I was like an innocent kid that was just like scared. You know what I'm saying? And I was just doing what I felt like I had to do at the moment, or whatever I thought was right at the moment from our upbringing. You know what I'm saying?
And what I love about that is, you've also stated that you had to go back and reflect on previous versions of yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It happens every day.
That self-accountability, I think, is a wonderful thing, and I think it's something we need more of. Can you share some of your thoughts on accountability?
I feel like for me, accountability is highly important in my life because it's a part of my healing. You know what I'm saying? Like, accepting my role in my own suffering in that way.
Your own contribution.
Yeah. And how I feed into it and things like that. I feel like I'm my own therapist, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
in that way. Not to say that I thought about therapy before, but I never did it. I just focus on myself. I write a lot. And then, like I said, everybody around me to me is a mirror, like for real. Like, I look at people and I see behaviors, actions. People speak about certain things and do certain things that remind me of like either things that I've done or things that people have done, or we did them together, and then it's like, damn, that sounds stupid as hell. Or that looks retarded. Why did I ever do that? I can't do that again ever in my life. You know what I'm saying? So like, to make that change, you know what I'm saying? For me, I had bad role models. So those bad role models made it so that I didn't want to be like these people, and it made me keep having to look at myself constantly.
I think that's the unfortunate byproduct of growing up in urban culture too. Like, I feel like I had the same. A lot of my OGs when I was growing up weren't the greatest examples.
Teach shit.
What have you seen on your journeys out of the area? Do you see more of the same of what you see here? Do you see different types of struggles out there?
I guess the struggles are the same pretty much for every hood and people who grow up in a type of environment that's not meant for you to succeed or grow or flourish in that way. It's all the same.
What I love that you said earlier was that you don't look at them as idiots if they've gone a negative route.
Yeah, why would I? It's just like, those are people who need more love and attention and affection and need people to be there for them. Like, like,
I agree.
That's what I said. My family members, my friends. How many of my friends have been locked up? I just got a phone call that my man just got locked up. So it's like, it's an everyday thing. You know what I'm saying? We just chose different routes, but like, people have a way of looking at it like like your mistakes, you're getting held for your mistakes and not being allowed the opportunity to grow. And that's how it feels in society, you know what I'm saying? With these privileged people and people moving around in certain ways, it's like, you not realize that people can change and grow and do new things, and you know what I'm saying? I think I'm a testament to that shit for real. Like all the things we went through, and I could have been something else, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like just from my vantage point of witnessing your journey, you know, there's so many moments I think where you could have been something else.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you end up becoming who you are today, and there's something about you, you know, I don't know if I can express it fully. You have this aura around you, like it feels like you're anointed. Like whatever you're doing right now, you were supposed to do it.
I feel like that though.
And I believe it because I've been in this long enough to see a lot of people talk really good. You know what I'm saying? But the execution there's no fault to, right? I see you in a better place today, both mentally, network-wise, business acumen. I see the evolution, and when I remember when we first met, you were saying you were gonna do this then.
Yeah.
And at no point was there ever like, you know how some people speak, but they kind of pause a little.
A little doubt.
Little doubt. There was never an ounce of doubt. You said it in a straight line, forward motion. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you're not superhuman. You're a human being.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With
More
all the
than
different
human.
experiences that come with that. And you know, I think it's a testament that you are doing what you're supposed to be doing.
I tell my brothers this all the time, because sometimes like I have people who do like people who are really close to me who show me like a lot of love and will say good things, positive things towards me and about me, right? And I like to stop them and be like, yo bro, I'm a regular human. Whatever I'm doing is the same shit that we grew up together. You can do the same shits, the same things that I'm doing, you can do for yourself in different ways. Like everybody's capable of doing these things. It's like, are you gonna get up and do it? There's a difference between like just sitting down and waiting for things to happen or you getting up and doing it. And I feel like I just like to walk in the path that I feel was already set in front of me and do my part while I'm walking. And it's something higher than myself that does the rest.
And you know, hearing you say that is so fascinating to me because I still remember the story you told me of how you got the idea for 7 Tribes and that Puerto Rico trip all those years ago, like on the beach, and it just hit you. You know what I mean? And like you saw it and you just been walking straight this whole time.
Yeah, word up.
You know what I'm saying? And that's part of why I wanted to, you know, with this series, I wanted to touch base with you and have this conversation. Because from my work, I feel like people like you have to get the spotlight because I don't think mainstream and traditional media will ever understand you.
I appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying? And so if, like I said prior, like the moment I met you, I understood what you were doing. Before you explaining it, just me hearing you speak.
I actually care. Well, not care, but as long as the real live people understand and feel that, we straight. Like that's how I feel. As long as the real human beings on the planet feel it, that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if the rest of the people don't get it or feel it.
Well, see, the reason why I said
most of the time they're gonna probably try to stop me.
Well, there's that. But the reason why I said it specifically was because they don't understand it, they won't talk to you on camera about it. And I'm just like, I understand it, so I want to talk to you on camera about it and help spread your message because in many ways I believe in it. It falls in alignment with my own beliefs. And I felt that since day one. You know what I'm saying? And so it gives me a great joy in my own content creation to be able to reach out, and even me hearing you now, your whole perspective on how you don't associate with just anyone, that makes me feel like the feeling is mutual.
No, yeah, for sure, 100%. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. I'm glad, fuck it, I said it on camera. I did a song for my brother Action Figure. On the record, I pretty much say like, you can't pay me for a feature. You can't pay me. I'm not bought. You can't pay me for a feature. I'm not doing no more interviews unless I'm sitting down with Nori. I literally said that as a statement, you know what I'm saying? So I made a lot of statements on the record. Like, nah, I'm not dealing with these gatekeepers that you say that I have to go through in order to get to the place that I want to be at. I'm telling you, I don't need those people, but I want to sit down with the people that I want to sit down with.
And be in those buildings.
With the people who I want to deal with.
Yeah.
Not with the people who they say I have to deal with to get there. Nah, I don't need to talk to those people. I don't need to go to that radio show. I don't need to be on that platform. I don't need to kick that freestyle over there. I don't need to do that. I could do it this way, my way, with the people who I want to build it with, who are of the culture, for the culture. You know what I'm saying? That's my main thing. You have to be of the culture and for the culture. You have to be with us 100. Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you for what?
Yeah, I love that so much. And that's part of what I said. It's a great joy to be able to do this with you.
No, word up. It's a pleasure, bro. Every time we chop it up, it's always something amazing.
For sure.
For real.
And I think that's it.
Word up.
That's a great way to end it.